Chapter 7. I woke up in my room, at my house in the white side of the land where I was welcome. There was a knock on the door. It was Mom. She told me to dress up and go downstairs because I had a visitor. I nodded. I was still sleepy, although I had slept enough. I was always tired, but I guess I would have time to rest now that Vince had paused this mission. I wore the first thing I set my eyes on in my wardrobe. It was a very old dress. I didn't know who to expect. It was probably Cindy coming to expose me and say I wasn't with her for the past months. Or Pastor Phillips coming to ask why I had missed so many book studies. I hurriedly ran down the stairs, and when I reached the last step, I couldn't believe who was sitting in our living room. Theo. How are you? He greeted me as I approached. I am good, and yourself? I didn't sit. I stood in front of him. I wanted this to be over as soon as possible. I am getting married. He didn't answer my question. I am getting married? What was that supposed to mean? As such a way to mock and prove that he is doing better than me? Married? I didn't understand. I was confused. I thought Theo wanted me back. That's what people do, right? When they make a mistake, they keep trying and trying until they convince their lover, right? I love her. We love each other. I couldn't understand his intentions. He must be audacious to have come here, to my house, to deliver such news in person. We love each other? What the heck does that mean? Does he mean he thought I didn't love him? Or he didn't love me? I failed to understand men more than black people. What's her name? I didn't care about anything else. I wanted to test myself and see how I was going to react to hearing him say her name. Marianne, he said it passionately. Beautiful name, I thought. Months ago, I would have gone crazy if he dared mention her name in front of me, but not now. I have seen things which have hurt me more than this. Marianne, Marianne, I repeated. I guess Theo was allowed to fully move on from me since I was attached, in a way, to another person. For some reason, I have always thought Theo was going to love me forever. I was wrong. She's pregnant. I saw him webbed in shame, but he pulled himself together fast. Too late. The shame was already seen, undone. Did they conceive the baby that day? The day I found out, or they continued doing it? She means nothing. Your nothing is now going to give you a baby. A beautiful baby. I repeated to him what he had said about her a few months ago, so he would understand how low my opinion of him was. I smiled painfully. Yes, I smiled with pain. You know when you smile but you're dying inside? That kind of smile that makes you look crazy but you can't believe that this person in front of you is causing you this pain. The person that was supposed to make you smile, not painfully but happily. I am sorry. I was tired of Theo's sorries. Theo offered me more sorries than the number of people Ajua had ever slept with. You will be. I shot at him and left the room. I didn't want and care to see his face anymore. He had mastered one more way to hurt me. It's funny how someone can continue hurting me. I grew mad because I hadn't forgiven him yet. He decided to hurt me again. I don't think he realized what he was doing or what he had done, but when he does, it is going to hurt him so much that I already felt sorry for him. I don't understand why it's hurting so much. Maybe because a baby means a permanent connection with someone, or the fact that he was going to do everything he used to do with me with another girl. Cindy was right. Sex is the problem. It opens the door to cheating, lies, babies, everything. I realized cheating does not only mean indulging in any type of physical intercourse with another person. Cheating is also making promises to another person. Cheating is using one's words in vain, saying you love someone when you don't, telling them you are going to be there for them, and then at a snap of a finger, you are gone forever. Where do all these feelings go? I never felt so replaceable in my life. Theo, how can you be this person? How can you tell her the same things you told me? I started going mad in my room again. going crazy. I remember Juvie crying and screaming in her room like an insane person. This life makes you go crazy. Crazy like Juvie. Crazy like Ajua. Theo's infidelities set me back to phase 1 of moving on. It was hurting so much. How naive I was to think I had finally moved on. I hadn't. Ajua said that your first encounter with love is always the hardest to let go. I kept thinking of how possibly their marriage could go wrong. Marianne losing the baby or anything terrible. I didn't realize how malicious I had become overnight. The thoughts that crossed my mind in that instant made me really believe I was evil. I wish she's short-tempered, has a terrible personality, and is hard to deal with anything. How can love make me so wicked? I needed time away from everyone, from Theo and his future family, from Vince and his race. I had to get a grip of myself. I stopped going to the black side for a few weeks. Despite my efforts to erase the hurt, it never ended, even though I woke up every day telling myself it would be over. Time went by. I was still white. Nothing changed. Only the fact that Theo had a baby now. A whole baby, an entire life in his hands. How could that affect me so deeply? I am now the one with the pain. I revel in it and I like feeling it. Perhaps what I felt for Vince was based on my infatuation for suffering. Agony made me resilient. I felt capable of doing anything, even killing myself. I thought about Juvie. She did kill herself. No one killed her. I didn't want to believe it at first, but seeing how wicked this land is, I understand her now. I always yearned to be like my sister. Now, it was my chance. I didn't change my clothes, knowing that where I am going, no one would mind what I was wearing, whether black or white. I also didn't put on my shoes. I slowly tiptoed out of my room. I tried not to make any sound. Even if I did, my parents wouldn't stop me because they hadn't stopped Juvie. But I wasn't ready to take any risk that will arouse suspicion from anyone. Getting downstairs, I knew Dad was in his office. Mom was in the kitchen making dinner. Alas. My maneuvering was perfect. I spotted the dinner table. It was set well, yet that's all we had. Nice cutlery, nice plates, nice clutch, and nothing else. Everything else we had was dirty. Dirty feelings, dirty secrets, and dirty minds. I walked slowly. It was dark and there was not a lot of people on the streets. I went through the dark tunnel and I realized that the reason Juvie decided to take her life in that side of the land was probably an apology of sorts, to appease them for what had been done to them by our kind. In my case, and by my estimation, my fate was sealed. The path to my afterlife was located there. I didn't remember the way, but I continued walking, using my sense of smell to locate it, and straining my ears to hear the waves calling me. I knew it was far. It would take me at least an hour to reach the place, and an hour for me to change my mind. But I wasn't going to. Ajua said men are like a bomb. But what about life? Life is also a bomb, and you never know when everything will explode in your face. The bomb is ticking. It was my time. There it was, the fertile and peaceful ocean. I looked up. There was so much calmness in the sky, and without a second thought, I launched straight into the ocean. It was endless. I couldn't see where it ended. I felt the water lap on my feet. It was warm and inviting. I continued walking right into it. It wasn't that bad. How could this kill? It felt so good. The water hugged my whole body. I kept walking and walking. The more I walked, I knew soon the water density would make me unable to walk anymore. I was now moving my legs, but I wasn't walking. I was wet, but it didn't feel like that. There was no water pouring, only my tears. Everything was now watery. Me, my feelings, my emotions, all those had turned into water. Nothing meant anything anymore. I was just water. I came to terms that I couldn't save anyone, and no one will save me. Not now, not ever. I was trapped. My arms were not moving. I didn't know what to do. I offered myself to the ocean. No one wanted me anymore, neither Theo nor Vince. I felt demoralized to see myself giving up like this. I felt my body weakening, sullen. My head was now under the water. Everything was so calm down here. I touched my skin, my white skin, and I wished I wasn't white. The ocean wanted me. Vince said the ocean had never killed a white person before. Well, I was going to be its first victim. I fought the water, trying to swim up, but the waves didn't let me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I recited the verses. Trust the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Do not be surprised when it comes upon you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you. But rejoice insofar. Be glad when His glory is revealed. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I mumbled the words as the water didn't allow me to say it properly. I tried to keep my head above the water, but my feet didn't help. I tried to swim against the tide, but I couldn't fight. The waves were strong, stronger than my pain. I held onto the verse, repeating the words. I couldn't finish them, but I knew them. Every verse stayed on my mind as the words were trying to help me reach the shore. Then it hit me. The problem was beyond the book. We were the problem. There was nothing incorrect about it, but the challenge was to understand it. It was a challenge given to us since we were born, with the hope that every human will find sense in the book in a meaningful way someday. It's unfortunate that some of us will only understand the book when it's too late, like me. I let the ocean fill me. My body is now tired. Jodi! I heard someone call my name. Was this the afterlife? Who was calling me? Sheila Jennings and Susan David killed their best friend. Vanessa Moore killed her baby. All these stories were haunting me. The verses couldn't win with such. I had developed two voices in my head. There was a battle in my head now, between the verses and those who didn't know how to be guided by them. I was going insane. The stories had possessed me. I was carrying all that wickedness inside me. It is enough! Enough! Jodi! 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 I kept hearing my name being called, and I thought by the time that the person would reach me, it would be too late. I was dying. I felt someone grab me and pulling me toward the shore. Maybe it's they. They came to take me to the afterlife. My whole body was sagging, and I could feel the waves lapping at me hard. It was Vince. I guess the verses won. He didn't care what part of my body he was touching. Under the water, everything is allowed. I could feel his arms around my breasts. My dress was now torn due to the force of the waves. His hairy arms were on top of my nipples. I opened my eyes. I could only see water and his arms frantically pulling me. He made the same movement more than 100 times till I felt the water calm and subside. He dropped me on the sand. He didn't carefully put me there, but dropped me. He was mad. It hurt. My back was hurting. My nose was hurting. I couldn't breathe. I coughed, but he didn't move. He let me choke. I held out my hand. I tried to reach him, but he didn't help me. Maybe he wanted to teach me a lesson for what I had just tried to do. I crawled on the sand to reach him. I tried to touch him, but he dismissed me. He walked away. Wait, Vince! What? Weren't you dying? Die! He blatantly said as he turned to face me. Vince! Vince! I spewed out some more water. I think I had ingested too much water. I felt like I had more water than pain. I thought you were different. But you are going to give up on me? On us? He looked like he was crying. Did he care about me? I didn't know what to do. I'm tired of living, feeling, hurting. I reached out to him and hugged him from the back. He was walking towards the forest. That's the point of life. You don't think I thought about it several times? But I can't. I have people counting on me. I can't. He dismissed my words, but embraced my hug. You said you didn't have anything to lose. I don't have anyone. Juvie is gone. I wanted to be brave like her and... He didn't let me finish my sentence. Jodi, Juvie didn't kill herself. He let go of me and faced me. Stop! She did! She killed herself. I covered my ears. She didn't. I promise you. I can show you. He was very certain of what he was saying. He had the same confidence about her destiny, just like Gunda and Maya Grace had. Show me. Show me. I am tired. Just show me. I begged him. I knelt down for him and he pulled me up. He held my hand tightly, so much that I knew I was alive again. He started walking and pulling me with him. I was unaware of where he was taking me, but I followed. It was time I learned the truth and stopped receiving half-truths. It was so dark, I couldn't see anything. Vince was still pulling me and I tried to keep up with him, but I couldn't. I was exhausted from the effort to die. I would fall, but he continued walking. There were so many trees along the way and he would slide in between them and I had to do the same. Both of us were still wet and I couldn't breathe properly. I didn't ask questions, I just followed him. After what seemed like eternity, we reached a communal housing setting with shacks lined up. The houses looked exactly as Vince's abode, but they were not isolated. He led me to one of the houses that was lit. We saw candles from the outside. There were so many candles to light up a house. Vince knocked on the door. Gunda opened. He looked as if he had been expecting us because he seemed relieved to see me. It's time, Vince told Gunda. Gunda went back inside and returned with a shovel and a bag containing other tools. Where are we going? I tried to keep up with them. They were walking so fast. I said I was going to show you. You will see. Vince grabbed my hand so we could walk faster. We went past trees. There were no shops, no pharmacies, no hair salons. There were no signs of any kind. We walked so much that I was more tired from the walking than the drowning. It was late. Mom was probably worried. It was funny that I didn't think of her when I wanted to die, but here I was thinking she was now probably worried. We stopped at what seemed like a cemetery because of the many gravestones that were dug haphazardly and just everywhere. Gunda knew exactly where to go as we walked zigzag between the graves. As we crisscrossed our way through, I looked at the surroundings. The grass wasn't green enough. It was greyish. Maybe the corpses didn't allow the grass to grow and replenish. The gravestones were also grey. Everything was grey. Even the energy felt grey. I recognized a few names that were inscribed on the gravestones and I gasped. Perhaps all the victims from the stories I told Vince were buried here. This discovery was too much for a day, too much for a week, for months, for a year even. It is here. Gunda handed one of the shovels to Vince. They started digging. Inscribed on the gravestone was Juvie Collins. I read her name several times until I calmed myself down. I couldn't understand. Why were they digging up my sister? I waited to interrogate them. The more they dug, the more my heart beat fast. I saw something green. It appeared as a body, but it couldn't be. I looked away. Look, Vince ordered. They both studied her body, and their faces registered different expressions. Vince looked angry. Gunda was sad. That's not my sister. She's green. How? I forced myself to look and in the process became unsettled. How could my sister turn green? Do people become green when they die? That's her. Look at her. Vince held me by my neck and forced me to look at Juvie's corpse. It's not her fault, Gunda said as he hugged me instead. It is her fault. Her people's fault, Vince roared and dropped the shovel. I was now more confused. What was he mad about? I don't understand. I went closer to view Juvie's body. I strained my head trying to see if it really was her. She indeed was green, not white or black. What was the reason for Juvie's death? Vince asked me in a manner that said he knew I didn't know the correct answer. She overdosed on dark plants. I faced him, howling yet was scared of his reaction. Dark plants don't kill anyone. You can't overdose on them. Our plants don't kill. He laughed as he told me this fact. When did Juvie die and when was she buried? He continued pressing me with the same tone. She died on a Tuesday. I don't remember the date. I don't want to remember. I buried my head in my arms, trying to forget about her funeral and the pain I felt that day. She was buried the same day. Where? We all know you can't bury someone on the same day. Funerals are usually on Saturdays. I could tell there was more to come. Just get it over and done with. Tell me everything. I became angry for being made stupid. Your sister did not overdose on dark plants. She was forced to take other plants, another kind, not our plants. That's not our work. Dark plants don't kill. They save people. We survive by taking dark plants, and we have been doing so for years. The plants help us. They can make us relax, even heal from whatever type of disease. Years ago, your people noticed how powerful our plants were, and they tried to plant them. They tried for many years, but the outcome was different. They never turned out to be the same. Your people didn't want to ask for our knowledge or seeds. They didn't want to depend on us. They tried so many times and also tried experimenting them on our people. Your people tested their plants on us, and a lot of our people died. People would overdose on them and die. 3 days later, the corpse would have turned green. Your plants did that. Vince narrated. Why green? Gunda had been holding me while Vince spoke, worried perhaps that I was going to faint. They arranged the funeral and buried her on the same day because they were afraid she was going to turn green anytime soon. As Vince said his last words, he was covering Juvi's grave with the soil they had dug up. I thought we bought the plants from you. I know you people are the ones who plant them. I said, referring to the dark plants I had seen in our area. They exchanged dark plants for goods. That's how they survived, as they did not have any other source of income. Now you do buy them from us. You depend on us. Things have changed, but you still choose to plant those plants you discovered to kill people. You still plant them when you need them. You use ours to heal your people, and you use your own to kill people. Our people. Whatever he said, it was confusing. But Juvi was not one of your people. It was the truth, and I had to say it. I glanced up at Gunda for answers. He didn't speak. She was not, until she slept with a black man. Vince aimed his look at Gunda. Did you know all this? I wanted Gunda to clarify. Yes, he answered. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you let me go crazy? I wanted to kill myself thinking Juvi had done the same. I looked at him as if I were Juvi. I guess I had some kind of power or influence on him. That's why I stopped you. Gunda looked at me with care. He didn't hate me. He didn't hate white people the same way Vince did. Perhaps it was because of his love for Juvi. Loving a white person made him open his heart more to us. There is no justified reason for anyone to kill anyone, even if you kill yourself. His wisdom wasn't necessary at this point. What do you mean? What was he talking about? I turned to Vince. He told me you were at the ocean, and I knew what you were going to do, Vince answered. How did he know? He dreamt about it, Vince responded. I believed him. I too had the same dreams. I looked at Juvi one more time in her grave, and I hugged Gunda. I was ready to leave. This was enough for today. I walked away. Where do you think you're going? Vince asked me. I am going home. I am done with this. I am done with all of you. Before you, my life was good. You still don't understand, do you? Your people did this. They are going to kill you. He followed me and grabbed me, made me turn to face him. Why? I am not sleeping with a black man. I let go of my arm and I faced him. I teased him. You are not going back there. I can't let you do this. Did this man care about me? He grabbed my hand with more force than the ocean. He pulled me and grabbed me again. I didn't fight back. I allowed him to drag me to his house. Gunda followed us. On the way, I was quiet. Vince had saved me. That's all I knew now. This man had saved me. Everyone kept pushing me away. Theo moving on, Mom with her indifference, Dad and his coldness, Aunt Nolly with her secrets. My people didn't care about me. My people kill. I finally understood everything now. Whatever we touch, we ruin. We tried to plant dark plants, but we failed. We didn't have the warmth that the plants need to thrive. We don't do anything with passion, even killing. Black people kill with passion, with anger and heart. When they see injustice, they become angered. They lose themselves, and there is no way back. On the other hand, we do evil subtly, doing it but pretending we are not, doing but not doing it. We use poison, we use third parties. The way Cindy's boyfriend had raped her. It was rape in a sense, yet it wasn't. Do you understand? No matter how you put it, that was rape. He had raped her privacy, her trust. Ajua taught me well. If rape was a subject, I wouldn't need private tutoring. I was becoming an expert. I was in his house, in his bed, wearing Ajua's clothes, since mine was still wet. I always desired to wear her clothes, be sexy and beautiful like her, so Vince could acknowledge me in the same way. His room was very quiet and had this atmosphere of sadness. He was sleeping on the floor. He offered the bed to me so I could be by myself. No matter how many sheets I used to cover myself, it was incredibly cold. In the morning, I woke up with a different energy. I was reborn. The sun from the window woke me up, and there was this lazy heat in the room. I yawned and stepped out of the bed in search of Vince, since he was not there in the room with me. I walked slowly down the stairs and I found him on his desk, painting. I went back to the room. I looked for my dress, the one I wanted to kill myself in, and dressed up. I made the bed so he wouldn't find another bad adjective to describe white people. I wish Ajua too came and found me here. I don't think she would care, but I would. I intended to make a statement. I was his now. I didn't know what kind of relationship Ajua and Vince had, but it was weird. Where are you going? Vince sounded controlling. What do you mean? I am going home. My parents must be worried about me by now, I told him as I reached to open the door. You are dead, remember? He stopped me, but didn't touch me. He stood in front of the door. What are you saying? Let me go home. I tried to push him away, but he was strong. The veins in his arms reminded me of the tree branches. So you think you can just try to kill yourself and everything is going to be okay? You can't go back. You're not okay. You will lose it. You will tell them what we have been working on. You won't be able to control it. I'm afraid. I can't let you go. So you expect me to do what exactly? Live here with you forever and pretend I am dead? How? I wasn't ready to let my parents go. If you go back, you will start talking. You can't take it. They will look for you everywhere. When they don't find you, they will look for you in the ocean. He had everything figured out. I don't understand, but I survived the ocean. They will find something of yours there. They will assume you are dead. He moved away from the door. He knew I was convinced and I wouldn't try to leave anymore. Something like what? Like an earring, a button of your dress? The ocean doesn't swallow you up without leaving a sign. The water always keeps something. He scanned me trying to see if I understood this plan or that I was missing something. He was right. I didn't have my earrings with me. How do you know it so well? I was curious about the ocean. It was so deadly, yet mesmerizing. My father used to take us there. He would lead us very far and deep into the ocean. He would then leave us there, and we had to try to come back. We had to fight it to be alive. Some of us didn't make it. I momentarily saw sorrow on his face. Who is us? My siblings. He looked at me nonchalantly. How many? It was an unnecessary question, but maybe he still had a relative who was alive. All of them. His words seemed to come from a depth full of melancholy. I am sorry. I don't know if he could tell how sorry I am, and I was. I wish there was another way to say it, in another language. If ever Vince were to teach me his native language, I wish I could learn how to say, I am sorry. So many sorries at Juvi's funeral. So many I am sorry I had shared with Theo. I was tired of I am sorry and I love you in this language. They were worthless. I touched his hands. They smelled soil. I bent my knees to be on the same level with him since he was sitting. I hugged and squeezed him. His skin was so soft. He kissed my forehead and paused. I felt his lips there for a few seconds, like he was thinking of something. Thank you. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for telling me what happened to my sister. Thank you for teaching me about racism and everything I have learned so far. Can I ask you something? I requested while my face was 2 inches away from his. Yes, he nodded. How were you able to reach me in the ocean? How did you cross it? How did you immerse yourself in the water? I thought about yesterday. Swim. It's called swimming. He knew the ocean was something new to me. What's that? It's a movement. That's how you move in water. I thought the point was to drown. If you can swim in the ocean, if there's a way to survive the ocean, then there's a way to survive this life. I knew I said something that made sense. He was silent. I fell asleep on the couch. My body was burnt. He nudged my leg to wake up. He said he wanted to show me something. I hope it wasn't another green body. I nodded and followed him. We walked out of the house together. It was kind of fun playing husband and wife. Vince had this air that made me feel protected, like nothing would happen to me because I had him. But it was exactly the opposite. I could feel my life changing completely, and I have fears that cannot be assuaged. We stopped in an area with few trees, some resembling jacaranda trees, but the flowers were green. The place looked dry. They were seated on some tree remnants reading. I was walking straight to a wall. I held Vince's hand so strongly so he would know I was feeling uncomfortable. I looked around, trying to see if I recognized someone. I spotted Gunda and Ajua. Gunda smiled. Ajua pretended she didn't know me. Vince ordered me to sit down next to him. He didn't introduce me to anyone. They all knew me. There was a lady in the middle of the circle they had created, saying something I couldn't understand. A guy with a very different hairstyle, something like dreadlocks, approached us and offered me something that seemed to be dark plants. No, thank you. It wasn't nice to say no, but where I come from, we only took dark plants when we were sick. I wasn't sick. It will make you relax, Amel said. He was very short and skinny. He looked like he had not eaten in days. His bones seemed sharp. I imagined myself sitting on his laps. It would probably hurt, like laying on a bed without a mattress. It wouldn't be comfortable. Okay. I glanced at Vince to see if it was okay, and he nodded. Then I kindly accepted the offer to drown myself and be intoxicated. I held the plant. It had been rolled and threaded. The moment I inhaled, I coughed. Amel touched my back. Moti, he said, licking some green item, but I didn't understand. What? The plants had a very strong smell. They smelled like boiled mint. His eyes seemed kind and his teeth were whiter than mine. He wore a blue long overall, which looked like a dress. That's what we call it, Moti. Before you people labeled it dark plants. How does it feel? He asked and smiled, noticing that I was struggling with it. I appreciated his presence. He was the only one who was nice to me. The others gave me mean looks. But if I hadn't met Ajua before, their looks would have affected me. I don't feel anything, but... I coughed some more, but I felt calmer inside. It doesn't do anything, but you're feeding a need, a relief, somewhere inside of you, he explained while smoking his rolled plant. I don't understand. I was unaware of what was happening around me, but at the same time, I suddenly became conscious and paid attention to everything surrounding me. I appreciated the sun, which was turning into a greenish hue, the strength of the hot weather, the smell of all kinds of plants. It's like water. It doesn't taste like anything, but you need it. You enjoy drinking it, he explained as his eyes turned red. Why are you being nice to me? I felt his face go tired. Why not? He answered. It seemed as if he did not understand the question. I don't want to be part of this. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. He explained very slowly. I wasn't sure what he was talking about, but smoking the plants made us come into some kind of understanding and have a connection. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I repeated what he said. The amazing feeling changed. Suddenly, I felt as if I was trapped. Like the muti created a bubble of air within me and I was trying to get out. I just want to be alive. You people did not do anything to me. My enemy is inside of me. I had no idea what he was saying. Enemy? I tried to follow his thinking. I am sick. I was born sick. I wish I could explain it, but I can't. I don't know how I got it. You know when you explain an accident? You fall down the stairs and break your arm is injured, that's it. I can't do the same for my condition. He clasped his hands. If that's the case, who told you you were sick? I felt kind of sober now. Amina touched me when I was a baby and she told my mother I wasn't normal. He pointed at the lady in the center preaching something. This land will be decolonized to suit skills of the black child. We will flourish. We are going to claim the land. The land is ours. The future generation will not suffer. I will not allow it. Amina was not that dark. She had caramel skin. She was sitting cross-legged on the floor, but I could tell her body was voluptuous. She made sure I understood what she was saying. I knew she was talking to me. She wanted me to know I was their enemy, a well-known enemy, a visible enemy, not like Amel's enemy. They didn't go to church. Maybe they didn't have a place to call church, or they couldn't afford to build one. They believed in the book, but they didn't use it as a judge of morality. Neither did they follow it to the letter. They believed more in spirituality and in the doctrine of goodwill. They would sit at this spot twice a week and listen to Amina preach. Vince said Amina was their leader and mentor in that side of the land. She had all the answers. The weather was hotter than my side of the land, like I was in a completely different land. They wore bright clothing, and for some reason, I always expected them to wear dark colors, but no. I approached Ajua and sat next to her. I never knew what to expect from her, but I always tried. I enjoy listening to her talk. I found her advice useful. What's Amina doing? I asked Ajua. Amina was talking slowly, though as if she was churning out a tune. It's called singing. Her eyes and ears were fastened to Amina's voice. Singing? I thought it was just noise. You don't know what voices can do. It's therapy. It heals, Ajua explained. It's graceful. Come. She started moving her body and invited me to do the same. What's this? I asked about the movement we were both doing. She was probably doing it better than me. It's dancing, she smiled. Ajua never smiled, but when she did, it was so ravishing. I knew what dancing was, but whatever she was doing was different from Mom's dancing. Can I ask you something? I was afraid of her. I don't know if this was the appropriate moment, but there will never be an opportune time to talk about that topic, and I needed to ask. Yes, Jodi? She had never called me by my name. Why did you sleep with all those men? I stopped dancing and focused my attention on her. She was moving her legs and her arms rhythmically at the same time, and her body was in harmony. I was looking for something. She wasn't mad and continued to dance. Did you find it? I pressed her more. I sat down on a tree that was horizontally etched and watched her dance. No, I will never find it. Only one person could give me what I was looking for, and that person is no longer here. She moved her right hand, sweeping her whole body as she danced. Whenever I spoke to Ajua, she sounded ambiguous, but when you thought it through, she made sense. Ajua loved her white lover so much that she had embarked on a journey to see if she could find the same feeling in another man. But she was wrong. I knew it now. It wasn't about the person. It was about the feeling. You feel like it is the person, but it is your heart which has the capacity to love like that. It's within you. The person just awakens that feeling. She hadn't found it because she never opened her heart again to let feelings consume her. It wasn't him. It was you. You have the power to love someone like that again, if you believe. She stopped dancing. I guess I said something wrong or something that made her think. What do you know about love? You're stupid. Your pain is stupid. My name is Jodi. My sister died. I am going to save black people. I'd rather die than put my life in your hands. You are pathetic. I let her unleash her anger on me. It was okay. I am sorry for whatever happened to you. I know you have seen pure evil, and I couldn't finish my sentence. I was afraid I would hurt her more. I stopped talking, and I looked around for Vince to come save me. I'm looking at it right now. She literally meant I was the pure evil. Her hands were on her waist now. I was unsure if the pain was a catalyst for Ajua's mean ways, but she was good at it. She stood and left me there alone. I sat there and continued staring at them dancing, singing, and doing those things that I never did. I watched the sun set, and I thought about everything I have been learning so far. Experiencing new things is scary, but it makes me alive. I don't want to die anymore, and if I do, I will die for something greater.